obviously something has to be done about the fact that the debt ceiling is going to have to rise soon. And there's one tool that had been talked about previously, and some people still want, including Bill Clinton, and that would be to use the 14th Amendment basically as a justification for Obama to simply ignore what they're saying about the debt limit.
Well, John, tell me what the 14th Amendment, what is it that they think gives the president the ability to do that?
So basically what there's a clause in the Constitution that says that the public debts of the United States, you can't just be like, whatever, and throw them to the side. You have to honor them. And they give some
cannot be questioned.
Exactly, cannot be questioned. And to enact this debt ceiling, which is not in the Constitution, by the way, it's just a statute, is in a way saying, yeah, we're going to question them. We're going to question them all day long.
So it's funny because now the Republicans, of course, in their 18th twisting of language to suit their bill, suit their interests, et cetera, say, okay, we have the constitutional position. Even though the other side literally has an amendment saying you cannot question the debt of the United States. And their debt ceiling is something that Congress came up with and Congress can take away and is not part of the Constitution at all.
Okay.
But all right, now, since the Democrats have a ironclad winning argument here, what happens next, John?
They have already surrendered.
They have surrendered.
So people in the Obama administration have floated the possibility of using this 14th Amendment justification to just simply ignore what Congress is saying, but they are not going to do that. We have a quote from Jay Carney, the White House press secretary, saying, "This administration does not believe that the 14th Amendment gives the president the power to ignore the debt ceiling, period."
Just give the Queen away. Give away the Queen.
Yeah.
It's an old SNL skit about that, the chess club and stuff. But it's really
probably from the 80s, but
right. Yeah. But that's how the Democrats do. They're like playing chess, and they're like, okay, what would you like to take first? Would you like to take my Queen, my Rook, the Bishop? Oh, the Queen. Okay, well here you go. Because look, if they wanted, they could use. At the very least, even if they didn't use the 14th Amendment, they could use the threat of the 14th Amendment as leverage.
To get something.
Right?
So why not just go ahead and say, I'm using the 14th Amendment, take me to court? Why not just do that?
Oh, man, I would, look, if I was president, I wouldn't even have this conversation.
Right.
And here's why I say that. You have to understand this is really, if you care about the debt ceiling at all, first of all, God bless your heart. Second of all, let me tell you what we're talking about here. It's not the president spending money. It's not the president saying, I don't care what Congress says. It's the president saying, hey, Congress has already spent this money. The president cannot spend any money. That power's with Congress. Congress already passed those bills. They already spent the money.
We've already had these debates.
And we already have the debt, that Congress spent. And what the president is saying is, I need to pay that debt. So you guys ran up this bill, and I owe it to China, and I owe it to JP Morgan, and I owe it to X, Y, and Z. I owe it to these guys. And now Congress is saying, well, the money that we already told you to spend, we might not let you pay it off.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he's got a constitutional power that says, I must pay the debt. I must pay the debt. It cannot be questioned. So if I'm the president, I'd be like, listen. You guys spent this stuff, I'm not having a conversation about whether we're deadbeats and I'm not going to pay your bill. I'll be the adult. I'm going to pay the bill because that's my job. If you want to cry about it and you want to do a public declaration to the country, we're the deadbeat party. We run up a bill, but we never pay it, Have at it, Hoss. Yeah. And by the way, if they did that, here's what would happen. The bankers would pull the Republicans in by their ear. They would pull them in and say, most of that money's coming to us. Who the hell do you think you are? We run this party. You shut the fuck up and raise that debt ceiling. It's a bullshit bluff. The Republican Party is a wholly owned subsidiary of corporate America. Corporate America would never let them actually not lift the debt ceiling.